Before we jump into the KDX video today, I just wanted to take a quick second to talk to you guys about something. Now, as you know, winter is coming around in South Africa. We've had a pretty good cold front so far. So I wanted to find out from you guys whether you would be interested in some Mud and Dust Media beanies and hoodies. I'm going to be making some for myself anyways. So if you guys want to jump in on the action, let me know in the comments down below, and if enough of you are interested, then we can do a couple of pre-order runs for you guys. I'm thinking about doing a non-zipper hoodie, just a solid hoodie, and then one tight knit beanie and a kind of loose knit beanie that's a bit softer and more flexible. So let me know in the comments and we can make it happen. What's up and welcome back to the videos. So we haven't posted a KDX update in quite a while. We've been waiting on some ports, but finally today we are jumping back into the KDX and hopefully we can get it to run. Alright, so for those of you who are new to the channel, this is my 1994 KDX 250 SR. I tore this bike apart, well, I started tearing this bike apart maybe like 2 years ago. Finally last year when the lockdown started, I saw it as a good time to start the build, and now a year later we are still not done. You know, sometimes it goes this way with project bikes. A lot of the parts for this bike had to be imported, so shipping during 2020, so bad. But yeah, we have all the last pieces that I'm going to show you guys now. And for those of you who aren't new to the channel, who's been following the build, the bike looks a fair bit different from the last time you guys saw it in the video. I just couldn't wait anymore. And I wanted to tinker on like small stuff while I was waiting for parts. So we've got all the plastics on, the bars and everything. This number plate's off a KTM that I just sprayed black. It's gonna change yet again, waiting for parts to be imported. I managed to put on a 1991 KX 250 or 125 rear fender, but you have to hack it up. The issue with the KDX 250 is the subframe and the rear mudguard is specific to this bike. But yeah, that's why I got an old one, so I could hack it up, perfect it, and then eventually we'll get a new one. Now, the final issue that we had, oh yeah, I also threw on these, like this grip tape, just to protect the frame a bit. I don't know if I'm feeling it or not. We'll run it for a little while and then we might change it out, or you know, just remove it completely. But the Kickstarter had an issue and the water pump was leaking. Now I've got everything lined up over here. So for the water pump, this little seal gave out, so we'll just flip it over, install the seal, install the bearings, then the shaft can go back in and the water pump can be assembled. And on the Kickstarter, you see this little spring over here, it actually got worn out and a piece of it looks like it broke off, and this basically helps the Kickstarter function as it should. It prevents this idler gear from slipping when you actually kick the bike. So and this is the part that we waited on for the longest. The new spring is larger and a bit beefier, so that should work well. Yeah, so we can throw all this together, throw it in the bike. We also got the chain rollers, the little seal for the exhaust that's too small. We've also got the packing in the silencer. I also did that off camera. And then the last thing, and I don't think we're going to complete it in this video, this will probably be the next one along with some test riding. I'm building a bash plate out of this thick plastic. So cut it, bend it, to take on the shape of the bottom of the frame. I reckon swing arm guards from the KDX 200 to work, and for the front forks we gonna have to figure something else out. Now this is just the first phase, so we can say this is like a version 1 of the KDX. There's still a lot of other stuff that I want to change and improve on with this project, so in future it's probably going to come apart again, like the power mods, build, hopefully if I can get my fabrication skills on point, build a new expansion chamber. I just painted the frame and the swing arm, and the triple clamps and so on, so not the best quality paint. Yeah, I used what I had available in the lockdown, but I'd like to get some stuff Cerakoted and whatever on this bike. At least now I know how it comes apart, how it goes back together, so if we go ahead and change anything else or we want to coat the frame, it should be like a day to tear the bike apart. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is work on the Kickstarter. I want to get all the engine components back together and install it, because we are going to use RTV to seal it up, and yeah, we just want that RTV to set a bit. So this is the kickstart spring. I already pulled it off the Kickstarter, so there's the gear over there, little spinny boy inside. Yeah, you can see like the old one, like physically it's like way shorter. The spring is like worn out, and this one's actually got quite a bit of tension to it. So it's as simple as popping it on, popping this washer on. Come on, oh, these pliers freaking suck. You see it's bent again. So it's winter in South Africa, and yeah, this garage is cold, and my hands do not want to work. Okay, that sounds much better. Cool, so that's done. In case you guys were wondering, if your Kickstarter slips and you want to check out or replace the spring, that's the part number at Kawasaki. This works for, I think, most of the off-road models. So KX250, the two-stroke, KDX 200, KDX 250, all that good stuff, 125 and so on. Okay, I'm just working on the towel so we don't scratch up the cover over here. So the old seal was broken and it left kind of a mark on here, so I just threw the shaft in my drill and just polished it up with some fine grit sandpaper. It's still got loads of sealing capability. So the first thing that's got to go in is this little high pressure seal. It just pops in the back here. Alright, that was a bit of a pain in the ass. I got that seal in. I probably did it incorrectly. Fortunately, I got two seals, so if it leaks and we have to redo it, and it's just one of those things. And we can reinstall the bearings. Okay, that was kind of cringy. There we go. Nice and tight seal. You can flip it over. It's got a mechanical seal as well, with a little O-ring in there. Alright, so now it's RTV time, and I know some of you are probably screaming at the camera saying I should get the OE gaskets or whatever, but I have never had issues with RTV leaking, so that's what we're going to use, and it's cheaper than buying the gasket. Okay, line up the dowels and pop it on. See the paint's already coming off. Like this stuff I was supposed to Cerakote or powder coat, but I had a bit of an issue with the powder coater, so I didn't want to take more stuff to them. But anyways, version 1. You gotta throw the Kickstarter in. So once this little arm over here needs to go sit behind this bracket. So just slide it in. You gotta kind of just align the gears. There we go. And that's in. So you want to make sure that it's seated in there properly, otherwise it'll scrape against the crankcase here and fill your crankcase full of aluminum shavings. Next thing to go in is this little spring and the bushing. This is by far the most difficult part because the spring pops in here and the bushing holds it in place. Then you have to kind of rotate this spring all the way back. This is what preloads the Kickstarter to pop back into place. But this spring has got a lot of tension on it. As you can see there, it's got a little cut out there to keep it in place. But yeah, I've done this a couple of times. It's a pain in the ass pretty much every single time. There we go. Okay. Let's try again. I have to say, previous time I did this, I did not struggle this much. There we go. All right, now we gotta get this thing into this little hole over there, and it's in. Oh, yes. So, had to pop into that little hole over there, and now it's in here. Great clearance. Okay, here we go. Now we need to try and line these guys up. So, can be pretty tricky. And if you guys have one of these 94 KDX 250s in the front and the back, well, you'll get an issue where the bike like loses power, and what happens was the little retaining clip on the back of this wheel over here comes off, and then the power valve gets stuck open. So if your bike loses power in the top end, or it doesn't feel like it's going into the power band, check this little clip at the back here. So this is simple, just plug it in and screw it on. I think after we get the bike running properly, we'll then focus on some of the cosmetics like the plastics and like these kinds of things to get some trick pieces made, and then we'll jump back into performance again. But yeah, if you guys have been enjoying this video so far, hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe to follow the ball. Pretty soon we are going to jump into my KTM as well. That thing's looking so sad. I pulled the forks and the shocks off to throw in Zane's bike. His suspension is over here. It's going to go to 266 suspension for service, and to rechrome the the fork tubes. Speaking of 266 suspension, they have also partnered with Mud and Dust Media to offer you guys a sick 20% discount when you do your next suspension service at 266 suspension. So use the code Mud and Dust 20 to get 20% off your service at 266. I'll have the details linked down below in the description of this video, and on Facebook and Instagram. I'll do a post as well. All right, this thing is complete. That's a shame this tank is so badly dented. If you guys know of any KDX 250 parts, I would love to source a plastic tank for this thing, or maybe just a better condition steel tank. Otherwise we're gonna have to take the paint off and get the tension removed. But the head is installed, the silencer is installed. Remember, I shortened it up. It's gonna be sick, sound good. Everything on this side is done. Now we just gotta put fluids in it and get it to start. So fluids, and then try to start it. Let's try to do it. So yeah, things did not go according to plan. As you guys saw, I struggled to start it. I think it's a fuel issue because I pulled the plug and it was bone dry. So I don't know if one of the jets might be blocked, or it's just because there's no fuel. I didn't check the fuel bowl. Maybe I should do that first. But anyways, regardless of it not starting, that's not the biggest issue. Because remember what I said about RTV, I did not seal it properly. So we have an oil leak and we have a coolant leak as well. You can see the little droplets over there. So the issue with this case is, if you can see this junk on the side here, this water pump cover is cracked. So I'm gonna have to pull this off, clean it off, get this one welded, or have another one made. Alrighty, so where we left off last time, and a couple of days have passed since the previous scene. So there was a couple of issues. There was a little oil leak, a coolant leak, and the bike didn't want to start. So first off, the oil leak, okay, you guys obviously can't see me now. That was just some residual oil that I spilled and it just ran down there. It's not leaking at all after I wiped it. The water pump cover had a pretty gnarly crack in it, so that's off to the welder. We should hopefully get it back this week still, and so we can test drive the bike. And then the carb, as you can see, we've got no throttle cable connected at the moment. The issue was the bike had a throttle cable on it that was meant for a bike with two carburetors, so it came up to this point and it split into cables. I removed the one cable, and to just seal it up again, I put some shrink sleeving over it and heated it up, and the little plastic housing where the cables were joined shrunk a little bit. So the throttle was stuck on halfway open, and it was giving it too much air and it didn't want to start. So what I did, I took the cable out. The slide is just sitting in the carb, so the bike can idle and we can kind of control it with the choke and the air fuel screw. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw you guys onto the tripod and we're going to start it up for you guys. Yes, there is no coolant in the bike. No, I'm not going to let it run for like half an hour. It's literally for the purpose of this video, to get the bike running. Well, the motor's running. It's not riding at the moment yet. But yeah, for the purpose of this video, we'll quickly start it for a minute and then shut it down. Shouldn't do any damage. yeah, and for this occasion, I've got a special shirt on. I've got the Mud and Dust Media Long Live the Two-Stroke shirt. You'll see a clip of it now when I kick the bike. Well, okay, you get the idea. So you guys get the idea. The motor's running, and it's running pretty sweet. The other day when it was a bit warmer, it ran for a little while longer. Obviously, I don't want to smoke myself out and put some heat in the motor for no reason, so I'm not going to run it for long. This weekend we are going out to Aurora to put in some seat time on the Moto Pro bike. We might have the water pump cover and the throttle cable for the bike before then. So if we do, we'll take it along and then we'll do the first ride video over there as well. So I already smoked myself out in this garage. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the riding video, and let me know about the beanies and the hoodies. So peace out and keep ripping.